Hello, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the Midday Brief here on Joy News on Multi TV. My name is Ni Akrofi Smatabe. Coming up in the headlines, elections are going on across the country for representatives to the Council of State. We'll get an update on the exercise so far from some of our correspondents. The Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association threatened a strike action. We'll find out whether they will indeed go ahead with their planned action. And also cancer will soon be added to the list of treatable conditions on the NHIS. Stay with us. We have more of these briefs and wellness here on the Midday Brief. We'll be right back. Okay, thank you very much for staying with us. This is the Midday Brief on Joy News on Multi TV. Now, yesterday, or the 5th of February, the Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association threatened a strike, and it was due to several issues that they have been talking about over the period. My colleague Eric Curtis has been on the beat, and he is here to give us an update. Good afternoon to you, Curtis.
Good afternoon, Smart.
Okay, so what's up with their strike? Are they going to go ahead as planned?
Okay, I spoke to the president of GOPSA, Stephen Kokwe. He told me that what they are going to do this time is that they wouldn't embark on an industrial strike action. But what they are going to do is that they're going to withdraw their services, which means that night service, where they are part of the essential service group, which means they're supposed to provide 24-hour service to Ghanaians. So services such as night services, they will withdraw it. Morning services, like weekends, when they have to come to work on weekends and they'll withdraw it. On holidays, public holidays, when everybody is resting at home, they also rest at home, because according to them, since they were migrated onto the single spine salary structure, the kind of monies that they are receiving as their salary, when they were not on the structure, they were better off. So if government is still insisting that they wouldn't work on their market premium, they wouldn't give them the kind of money they deserve, then for the time being, that's what they're going to do. So they say they are waiting till February to see how the February salaries will reflect. If it's still the same, then they will start with that process by reducing the salaries. So
for this month, they will still be working?
Yeah, for this month, they are working.
So when would they start this night, weekend, holiday, off-duty thing?
Okay, when I spoke to him, he said that they are waiting for their February salaries. Okay. When the February salaries come out and they see that still there has been no change, then they will take it from there. They said that they petitioned the National Labour Commission. They don't want it to get to that point. They petitioned the National Labour Commission to look into the matter, to sit with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, to speak to the Ministry of Health, to speak to government, so that the issues can be resolved. But it looks like, according to them, there have been several meetings, and still nothing much has really come out of it. So for them, and I spoke to the former president. What he said was that this month's salary, if you compare to what they got as their bonuses and everything, compared to their basic salary was more than what they got for their bonuses, and they thought it just wasn't right. Since they've been migrated onto the single spine, their salaries should go up, but that's not the situation.
So for now, they are just waiting for the mediation and all that the Labour Commission will do. They're waiting for them to go ahead with that, and the fair wages as well. Yeah. So depending on how the February salary comes out, then they will go ahead.
Exactly. But he did not also discount the fact that there could also be an industrial action, because he said when members agitate and they really want to go on an industrial strike action, aside the truncating of certain services, and they want to add on to it, they as leadership will try to contain their members. But when it gets to that point, then nothing can be done about it. Hey, they will, and this time the strike wouldn't be like they will go for on the strike action 1, 2, 3 weeks, and government will sit there and talk to them and say that, oh, let's go on the drawing table, they'll come back. This time they said they will be on the strike, and the strike will be so intense until government issues a paper or comes out with a document saying that, look, we have increased your salaries. This is what you want. This is what we are giving to you. Other than that, this strike actually is going to be prolonged. But they know that, and they don't want to get to that point. So they are just trying their possible best to speak to the stakeholders, the Ministry of Health, National Labour Commission, that they should talk to the Fair Wage. Because Stephen Kokwe said the Fair Wage and Salary Commission said they have no hand and this at the moment. So they thought that probably somewhere from government is trying to pull the strings and everything. So they want government to really look into the matter to address the problem.
Okay, thank you very much. Eric Curtis Howard is my colleague who has been on the beat of the government and Hospital Pharmacists Association, who have been threatening a strike action, and now they're telling us that it will depend largely on the resolution of the matter. If their February salaries come out as they expected, then they will hold on to the strike. But if it doesn't come out as they expected, then they're going on a full-blown strike, and nothing is going to stop them until the disparities are corrected. But let's still do something health-related. And the Chief Director of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Sylvester Anemana, has hinted that the treatment of cancer will soon be added to the National Health Insurance Scheme. He explained that the measure would help save the lives of many patients who are currently given little help in seeking treatment and often resort to herbal medicines. Dr. Anemana added that government had put the necessary measures in place to rebuild the radiotherapy and nuclear medicine facilities at the Kolebu and Komfanochi teaching hospitals to care for many Ghanaians suffering from cancer. He indicated that the use of harmful chemicals in food preparation, the weak enforcement of environmental bylaws, and a lack of sufficient industrial waste management must be critically looked at, as they can increase people's likelihood of developing cancers. He said a myth about cancer could only be dispelled with serious and continuous education that would also allow people
the designs
to
are
identify
already,
the risk factors.
and soon work will start. It is also our intention to upgrade the Cape Coast Central Regional Hospital into a teaching hospital. I want to assure you that we're going to continue it and find the resources for SEDECOM to become a development vehicle in the Central region, as SADA has become in the Northern region.
The Central region, he said, will record a significant change in the next 4 years. The Western Region House of Chiefs was led by Osajefo Kwamena Enemil, spokesperson for the House, Odenehue Japan Abebio II, after conveying their customary congratulations, said indigents of the Western region are of the notion that all the country is interested in is their wealth of natural resources, and called for more development.
It is our hope that the indigents of the Western region will know and feel the presence of our sons and daughters in the effort to rule the region and Ghana gently on the road to recovery, growth, and shared prosperity. There are times we have felt that it is only our naturally endowed resources that Ghana wants. Although there are times we have felt that our region's relationship with Accra neglects the whole philosophy of justice. We offer you all the necessary cooperation and collaboration.
They were, however, hopeful of a rapid takeoff in the next few years. To them also, President Mahama said one of the major interventions to be made in the Western region was to improve the road network and work towards making the region the hub of Ghana's oil and gas industry.
We're going to work on some of them under the CDB facility, that is the Oil Enclave Road. I'm sending a team to China to speed up the disbursement of the CDB facility. The bulk of the CDB facility is going to be invested in the Western region, in excess of $1 billion for the gas processing plants, and once the gas processing plant is put in place, we will be able to supply gas to the thermal plants that we have already put at the Abuadzi area. There's also a new free zones enclave for putting up the downstream petrochemical industry in the Western region.
To both houses, he promised to call on them to especially thank them for their roles in the elections and hospitality shown him.
Well, today also chiefs from the Ashanti and Brong-Ahafo regions are expected to pay a courtesy call on the president. Let's cross over to the castle now to join Presidential Affairs correspondent Gifty Ando Apia for an update. Good afternoon to you, Gifty.
Good afternoon, Claude.
Okay, so which of the chiefs have arrived yet? Ashanti or Brong-Ahafo, or both of them?
Yeah, both of them are already here. Actually, the president has finished the meeting with that of the Ashanti region, the delegation from Ashanti region. He just finished discussion with them, and as I speak with you now, that between the president and the Brong-Ahafo region is ongoing.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, in the meeting that they had with the president, Dasibre Osebo II led the delegation on behalf of Osunfo, the Asante Osunfo Oseitu, because he is currently out of the country. And they came to congratulate him. This is something that is done for every new president. And so, as you're aware, the whole of this week, all the chiefs have been calling on him. Today, when they came to admonish him to be all-embracing and ensure that he fosters peace and unity in the country, as well as ensure that every region in the country receives their fair share of the national cake. The president, on the other hand, has been telling them that he takes their advice and he will ensure that every region, as they say, receive their part of the national cake. And then he was also telling them about some projects that his government intends to undertake and take further, and that includes the ongoing project at Sofo Line Interchange, which he said will be sped up and completed. He said they also look at putting a railway between Tema and Bwankwa, as well as Takoradi and Kumasi. You know, these are port areas, and so it is to make importation and transfer of goods from the point of the port to the various destinations easy. He also talked about the Kumasi airport, which will see some massive renovations, as he said. He says they're going to redo the runway and build a new terminal as well. And then he also mentioned a new military hospital. That will be the country's second military hospital. That will be situated in Kumasi, as well as a new regional hospital to ease the stress on the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital as it is now.
Okay, but the issue of Dr. Dana and the opposition by some chiefs come up at all for discussion whilst he met with these chiefs from the Ashanti?
Yes, Matt, I cannot tell for sure if that was part of the discussions. They had a closed door meeting after they met with him for our cameras, but they had a closed door meeting, and so I do not know for sure whether they discussed it there. I tried speaking with Dasibra Osebo on this particular issue because, you know, there are some issues that have been raised about the ability of traditional leaders to deal with Dr. Dana because of his peculiar situation, because of his disability. And so I tried to talk to him on that, but he didn't grant us that interview. But on the sidelines, he did indicate that they've been working with this man. He personally said he's been working with this man for over 12 years now, and for him, well, that was the indication he gives me is that, well, we'll be working with him already, and so we can work with him.
Okay. All right. Many thanks. We'll leave it there for now. That's our Presidential Affairs reporter, Gifty Ando Apia, who has given us an update on the meeting between the President and the representatives from the Ashanti and Brong-Ahafo regional houses of chiefs. But we'll be doing sports in a bit. But first, power outages or blackouts are notorious for the inconvenience they cause, especially at night. For motorists, however, apart from the inconvenience, which is not limited to the night, there's also the chaos, gridlocks, and sometimes accidents that come with traffic lights malfunction when an outage occurs. Is there anything that can be done about it? Yes, there is, even though it may not happen as quickly as you may want it. Alidatha has more.
This is a typical situation motorists find themselves whenever traffic lights are unable to function because of an outage. Almost all the motorists insist on having their right of way, with some resorting to unorthodox means to get around the chaos. Others simply refuse to acknowledge the challenge in such situations and speed at unreasonable levels, causing crashes in some instances. Power rationing in recent times means each day traffic lights somewhere in the capital or elsewhere in the country will go off. Our roads, on the other hand, do not take the day off simply because the lights have ceased functioning, and so chaos ensues. The authorities say efforts are being made to resolve these crises with ongoing rehabilitation of the traffic light system. Metro Roads engineer of the Department of Urban Roads, Abbas Awulu, explains some have been fitted with battery backups which should keep them functioning for up to 48 hours. According to him, resolving this issue in the short term is to provide battery power backups to those that do not have them in order to prevent traffic jam during power outages.
What we intend to do is to put in some power backups, at least about the 48-hour power backups there, as a temporary means of, or the short-term means of trying to help resolve the problem. We've also talking to a lot of companies within that corridor. One is to have an alternative power source. And the traffic lights they don't even consume up to a refrigerator or something. It's quite small. We want to appeal to the commercial interest within that corridor. Once you have generators that you can easily help us with, as part of their social responsibilities, we'll be too happy to get an alternative power source.
Others, such as the traffic lights at the Kaukudi, Afrikiko and Nationalism Park intersection, are now solar-powered, with another yet to be installed at the intersection at American House once the road is completed. Abbas Awulu says the intention is to power traffic lights in all 145 intersections in the capital using solar energy. New traffic lights to be mounted in over 60 identified junctions will also use solar.
We are generating enough power from the solar that even at the Nationalism Park, the one in front of Accra Sports Stadium, we intend to connect that also to the Osu cemetery traffic light, because we're getting so much energy from this that we can also power the nearby intersections with that. Once this has been worked out, we can start gradually moving on to solar controlled intersections, or solar being used as the main power source for the intersections. We expect that by the end of the year or midpoint next year, our 207 of our traffic lights shall all be solar.
He says the Accra Intelligent Traffic Management System, expected to start in March this year, will offer a complete traffic revolution with a central control room to remotely manage traffic.
Through a central control point, one can see what is happening at every traffic intersection within the city. Once those traffic lights are in, they'll be synchronized. They'll be able to talk to each other, so that if you are driving at a particular speed, you can go through the traffic lights without necessarily stopping. So if you're driving at 30 kilometers per hour, you should be able to arrive at the next traffic light. Once, provided you are doing 30, by the time you get there, it will be green for you. The next traffic light will also be green for you. And we're using that method to help reduce congestion.
The $97 million project, funded with a loan from the China Development Bank, when completed, will improve safety and also detect red light violation. It will also control speed, determine traffic volume at any given time, as well as provide vehicle messaging to feed motorists with information on traffic situation so they can change their route when necessary. So it all sounds very high-tech and probably the solution to the chaos that often comes with malfunctioning traffic lights. Except these projects do take time. So until then, drive safely.
Well, thanks for staying with us. This is still the Midday Brief here on Joy News on Multi TV. Now let's do some sports. Well, we all know the Black Stars will be playing their semi-final match today, but instead of us looking at the match ahead of the match, one issue that seems to be making the rounds is the nature of the pitch they'll be using for the match. Why is it such a big deal? Should it really be a big deal for our Black Stars, seeing as where we are in Africa, in Ghana? The pitch really, well, okay, we'll get to talk a little bit more about the pitch, but here's a report from our partners, the BBC, about the pitch that seems to be raising some eyebrows ahead of the match. Let's take a watch. When we come back, we'll discuss that. Stay with us.
So the match here in Nelspruit has been dominated by the playing surface. As you can see, it's full of sand. There isn't very much grass on it. It's hard, it's bumpy. The players have found it really difficult to control the ball, and it's been a real headache for the organisers because it's only happened fairly recently. I've been talking to the stadium manager, Rolf Kutz.
In the beginning of December, of January, the pitch actually went backwards And the experts say it's basically because of algae outbreak, which is a result of a combination of high humidity levels. You've got extreme heat and then you get thunder showers. The way to deal with algae is that you treat it with sand, verti drain the pitch, basically pushing holes into it, and fresh sand that you put on to suffocate the algae.
How difficult has it been for you? Because you have got a terrific stadium, looks great from the outside and on the inside apart from the pitch. It must be frustrating for you.
Hugely so. I think we pride ourselves to have a good pitch, and all the other things, that the fan, the spirits, the matches, the atmosphere in here, especially Burkina Faso doing quite well. And it just breaks our heart, you know, that we would have obviously liked to showcase, but yeah, it was not to be.
The Togo striker Emmanuel Adebayor described these conditions as a disgrace. But despite all the criticism, the experts have said the playing conditions are okay. Games haven't been taken away from here. The semi-final will go ahead as planned, and that's a real problem for the Ghana team. They only arrived here late on Monday and were told they could not have one single training session on this pitch.
I think it's going to be a very big blow to us because we need to train on the pitch that we're going to play. But here is the situation that we are not going to get any chance to train on it. And I think Burkina, if I may put it this way, they have a little bit advantage because they have been playing on this pitch for quite a long time.
The advantage then should be with Burkina Faso. They've played here 4 times, they've won twice and drawn twice to reach the semi-finals, but even their coach admitted this pitch was not fit enough to stage such an important game. Alex Capstick, BBC News at the Umbombola Stadium in Nelspruit.
Okay, so that was Alex Capstick's report, on the pitch, the controversial pitch. But in the studio with me is a man mostly known as a sports professor, Jesse Kofiaposa. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon. 2
draws, 2 wins for Burkina on that same pitch. Should it be a big deal that the Black Stars is going to play on the same pitch against Burkina?
Well, obviously, to the extent that these players play in Europe and they play on very good pitches, obviously you would have eyebrows being raised. But clearly, I don't think that, you know, it's an issue that we should really be concentrating on. I think it's a very destructive tool that the Burkinabe coach set us to, and unfortunately we have fallen for that trap. These players, whilst, you know, developing in their course of developing, where they play their coast football, you know, has always been on bad pitches. In fact, in 2008, when we hosted the Nations Cup here, you know, after our first game against Guinea, our coach, Claude Leroy, described that pitch as a potato farm, you know. So I think that the issue of bad pitches is a problem in Africa, you know, and these players are not, you know, it shouldn't be a strange thing to these Ghanaian players. I think we have over-concentrated on it, and we are setting ourselves up to, you know, kind of provide an excuse for ourselves if we should, you know, be defeated in this particular game. I don't think that is something that we should, you know, really bother ourselves. I think what we should have done, and, you know, we didn't do, was to, you know, tell the players that these are pitches you have played on worse pitches than this. Go into this game, let's focus on the bigger picture of bringing the cup, you know, home, rather than concentrating on the whether the pitch is good or bad. I don't think that is an issue for me.
Even if the pitch should be a big issue, where the Black Stars have been playing all this while, they haven't complained about it. But really, how many times have they really excelled on those pitches?
Exactly. I mean, I think that again we have had a tournament where we have simply rode on luck. People disagree with this point. We have played, you know, on very good pitches at Port Elizabeth, and we have not really gelled as a team. So, you know, I'm wondering why we're beginning to concentrate on this issue of pitch. Again, when our players come here, when they come down on holidays, they play what they call Monday Stars. They play at La Baoleshi, you know, which is, you know, a Sakura pitch. It's a grassless pitch. You know, they play at the, you know, what do you call it, the Kotobabi Swag Park. You know, so I don't know. I think that for me, we are blowing this particular thing out of proportion, and we should rather get the players to focus on this game and go and do the business of, you know, playing football and making sure that they win this game, and not really be distracted by matters concerning the pitch. Because the issue is this: the Burkinabe have played, you know, on it 4 times. I mean, and again, yes, somebody would make the excuse that, you know, they've had the benefit of playing on the pitch, you know, on 4 different occasions, and therefore they are used to the pitch, and we are going to play on it for the first time. My issue is this: the players, when they come here, they play on worse pitches than this one.
Okay. But so, speaking of which, the match itself, how should our boys approach our men? I'm told I shouldn't call them boys. The last time Kwame warned me, but sorry, Kwame, if you're watching, I'm sorry, I corrected myself. How should our men be approaching this game? Because it looks like you rightly said, the criticism has been that they've been relying solely on luck throughout the tournament. But this is the semis. How should they approach it? This
is our toughest game that we're going to play. The first approach is that, you know, we've got to take our chances, because the chances are going to be very, very few in this game. We cannot afford to waste those chances. We have got to defend and defend solidly. We have got to concentrate for 90 minutes plus extra time. It's got to be full concentration. We cannot afford to lapse in our concentration, because the Burkinabe have got a solid player in, you know, Jonathan Petroipa, who can punish you. Now, if you know what he's capable of doing, you should have watched their last game. The least opportunity that he got, that is what you describe as a half chance. He got that chance and he converted it into a goal. So that is a player that we have got to watch. Again, you know, they've got a very good striker in Mumuni Dagano, who has had an experience of playing in 5 different nations. I mean, this is his 5th Nations Cup that he's playing. He's tall, you know, and so you're going to have somebody like Isaac Vossa concentrating on him. Now, it will come down to how we are able to keep Jonathan Petroipa quiet throughout the game. If we're able to keep him quiet and take our chances, you know, and not defend in a lousy manner, I think we should come out good. Okay, so what strategy should, if you were to advise Kwesi Appiah, what strategy would you ask him to go for today? Well, I think we haven't looked sharper up front. I think the strategy should be that we should get more men behind the ball when we are attacking, and we should get our fullbacks to be able to retreat, you know, when we are on the defending, because the Burkinabe are very good using the flanks. I mean, they've been very good using the flanks, and so we have got to make sure that somebody like John Pencil doesn't, you know, cross the center line, you know, because age has caught up on him. He's lost close to about 4, you know, yards of, you know, pace. So clearly he's that player who age has caught up on him. He's lost a lot of pace. So he has got to, you know, be very careful when he's going forward. Harrison Affo has also equally got to be very careful. So we have got to be very, very strict at the flanks and make sure that they don't get, you know, behind our fullbacks and then get in the crosses. Otherwise, we are in trouble. Okay. Sorry, Jessica Fiamposa, thank you very much, sports professor. Thank you for joining us on the Midday Brief. But in case you didn't know, today is reggae legend Bob Nesta Marley's birthday. Yes, I have a surprise for you. But first, let's take a okay. Let me start the surprise this way. Watch this.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my surprise. Yes. Okay, I have more surprises in store. In the studio with me now is the king of reggae. Okay, if you don't like it, whether I like it or yes, he's the king of reggae. And okay, let me limit it to multimedia. He's an in-house reggae show host, dub legend, King Lagase. Thank you so much for joining me.
Blessed, my good brother. How you doing?
I'm good.
I like your outfit, man.
Thank you.
Truly African. Yes, brother.
Okay, so Bob Marley's birthday today, but is Dub Legend doing anything special on Bob Marley this week?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we said a lot about Bob Marley last year, but this year we had wanted to, have his, wife, living
Rita.
wife, Rita, on the show, but there were a whole lot of programs, coming up, so he had to run back to Jamaica. You understand? So as I'm speaking to you right now, Rita is not in Ghana, and it's very difficult to get a woman via phone because the programs already. That Bob Marley is one big artist that always people really focus on him. You understand me? You look like the whole world is into Bob Marley.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even those who are not die-hard reggae people all know Bob Marley and they appreciate what he's done for reggae.
Yes, because you see, Bob Marley's band or management was a white band. You understand me? And if you watch this video, One Love, you understand me? The people you see in it are all, white people. You understand me? So basically, it tells you that they really sold Bob Marley not to the even reggae fraternity alone, but to the rock world, to the R&B world, to the jazz world. So everybody came to accept Bob Marley in a way. There were rock platforms that you see that Bob Marley performed and all that, simply because the management or the person in front of Bob Marley is a white person, Chris Blackwell, and that was what Bonnie Wailer and Peter Tosh really kicked against. But who knows? The man wants to be there, so they really put him there. You understand me?
Okay, but some are saying though that reggae seems to be under threat somewhat because Bob's legacy somewhat seems to be dying out. People are not doing reggae musicians, or people who call themselves reggae musicians, are not doing the hardcore reggae that we all know Bob for. They are roots reggae. They are not doing that. They are branching more into dancehall and all other forms of sub reggae genre. Is Bob's legacy really under threat?
I would say yes, and I would say no. Reggae, we all know, is growing. At least from ages to ages, it's growing. But the only thing that is killing, the industry, I've spoken to top-notch in the industry, like Teddy Brockshot, one of the first Jamaican, artists to, break into the Hollywood movie industry. He said, what the artists are doing now is crossover music. They pick hip-hop rhythm and they ride over it, they put the Jamaican accent on it and call it dancehall. You understand me? But again, in Ghana here, let's talk about Ghana. In Ghana here, I know of the Roots Anabo. You understand me? I know of the Kente Band. That I know artists like Black Prophet and co. Look up to those people. Now, those artists, like for instance, like Rocky Dauni. Who's looking up to Rocky Dauni in Ghana now?
Big question.
They've not given themselves the chance for us to look up to them. They're always internationally. They're going and they think less about home. But it's about time they need to come back home and sit down and say, yes, my people, follow me and let's go. When you go to Jamaica today, one, the industry is growing in the dancehall sector simply because people are gravitating into that. At a point in time, the critics were saying that the spirit of reggae left Jamaica and it's in Europe right now because the Europeans are doing the root rock reggae today. Okay. But Jamaica is into dancehall, the Vibes Cartel, the Movado, the Sirani, the Popcorn, the Shampoo, everybody is into them. And that is really, in a way, killing the reggae, the Kuchoko rhythm or Skenge Boom rhythm, you understand me? But in a way, if we can really bring it back to life, then it means that we have to revisit the original core of reggae as it started from urban Jamaican ghettos. Those the Bob Marley and the Wailers culture, Burning Spear and all these people, we have to revisit that kind of style. But it's very difficult. I see dancehall to be a generational thing. You understand me? That everybody, every youth in Ghana, the Stone Boy, the Khaki, the I1, the Jupiter, everybody is into that. You understand? So, really and truly, the people who came before us must really come back and sit us down and teach the children the way they should go, so that when they grow up, they will know what, depart away from that. When Busy Signal came to Ghana, he was performing and he sang the songs of Bob Marley. In Ghana, which of the artists can go out and even sing the song of Kwadwo Entry? You understand? But we all know that Kwadwo Entry, even though he's been branded as a high life artist, he's a reggae artist because he plays reggae. Who can go out there and sing "Me da fupa unyum nebe"? No, nobody does that. So it's really killing the industry. So we are killing it. Our own selves are killing it.
Yeah.
So unless we sit down and say, "Wow, we need to go back and revisit the original core of reggae."
Okay, hold on, man.
Yeah, my blessed.
Yeah, I'm trying my part to that today. Let's take another dose from Bob Marley, and then we'll come up and then we'll come back and wrap up on this conversation. Stay with us.
Marcus Garvey said it, so let it be done. I know you know who you are under the sun. We are the children of the Rasta man. We are the children of the I am. So Africa unite. Africa.
All right, so thank you for staying with us. Kilagaze is still with me in the studio. He's making me try my patois today. You should know.
You know.
But one thing I find curious, how come Bob's birthday is almost like not really celebrated, but the death day is more like on a high key than the birthday?
As a matter of fact, when you go to Jamaica today, maybe it will be a little bit, small in Ghana, but in Jamaica, they don't lay low on that. When you go to, we have a week program, a week stretch program that is going even into the weekend for Bob Marley.
Okay, for the birthday.
For the birthday.
Okay, so that's how come Rita is not shout.
You understand me?
Okay.
And same thing to happen on the death day. You understand me?
Yeah.
So basically, even the birth one is even higher, more than even the 11th May one. You understand
okay.
me? Yeah.
So it's only in Ghana that it seems to be.
It's only in Ghana
quiet.
that is maybe today is, well, let me say Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's working days. You understand?
Exactly,
But maybe
so
tonight, maybe in Tawala, something
exactly.
will happen. As to Bob Marley, and you see, we play hypocrisy a lot. You understand me? Everybody is into reggae in Ghana.
Yeah.
Go to the big offices in Ghana. Go to the corporate offices in Ghana. Everybody love reggae. But when you appear as a reggae, presenter, a reggae artist, then people look at you with a scorn.
Yeah.
That hypocrisy must stop in Ghana.
Okay.
And that is why the industry is dying.
Okay.
You understand me?
So you can catch King Lagase this weekend on,
on Friday on Dub Legend on Senior Africa.
Well, what should they be expecting? What should they be looking up to?
I'm telling the people that they know how everything go already. They know the new dance, they know the tack, they know the flex, they know everything. You know what I mean? So this Friday 6:30 on Senior Africa. If you miss it, Monday 4 p.m. repeat version. No lingerness, straight up, Dub Legend to the world.
That's from the 5-star general, right?
No,
there.
7-star general. What is it?
You've gone up.
Yeah, 7-star general.
I need to catch up now. 7-star general. Like I said. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Stay with us. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back. This is the Midday Brief. Don't confuse it.
Let's get together to fight this holy Armageddon. One love. So when the man comes, there will be no doom. One soul. Have pity on those whose chances grow thin. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation.
From the Horn of Africa to the Cape, from the Gulf of Guinea to the Mediterranean, we gather to celebrate African football. Between January 19 and February 10, Joy Sports brings you all the matches from the 2013 Africa Cup of Nations in South Africa. It will be exhilarating skills, all the loud cheers, the big names, and all the big moments.
AFCON 2013 is brought to you in association with
New Sunlight 2-in-1.
Guinness. Reach for greatness. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
Printwear Limited. Quality for less.
Fiesta Condoms. She'll want more.
Lucozade Sport. Faster, stronger, for longer.
The new Techno N3, the smarter smartphone.
MTN, everywhere you go. Tricky fortune. Live extravagantly.
Follow the AFCON 2013 on Joy Sports, on TV, on radio, and online. Get your Digibox now. Multi-TV, just thrills.
We can say we saw.
Okay, so okay, I'm still trying to cool off from the reggae fever, and now let's do some wellness, which will also help you as well cool off. You know ginger, right? Well, it can best be thought of as a tuber, and throughout history there have been recorded benefits of ginger that different generations have passed on to the next generation. Traditionally, you can either eat ginger as a delicacy, or you can use it as medicine or take it as a spice, which I like to do. The cultivation of ginger had its roots in South Asia, but since then it has spread to both the Caribbean as well as the region of East Africa. Here are 3 benefits of ginger.
At times, ordinary ginger can be called root ginger in order to differentiate it from other things that also use the word ginger in their names. Etymologically, the word ginger comes from the medieval Latin word gingina and the French word gingembre. Ginger has many uses for your well-being, and this list will educate you on some of them. The first is protection against diarrhea. When you have that funny feeling in your stomach and feel the onset of diarrhea about to occur, you can blame your failure to include enough ginger in your diet. The reason is that certain kinds of compounds found within ginger are an active agent that works against a form of diarrhea. This property of ginger is particularly useful in merely developing countries where the rate of infant mortality is quite high because of diarrhea. Zingeron, which interestingly enough is also the organic compound that is accountable for giving ginger its very unique flavor, is thought to be the active ingredient in ginger that fights against diarrhea. Now, let's talk about protection against nausea. If you have ever felt nauseous in your life, then you know how insecure and discomforted that sensation can make you feel. Ginger has been proven to be efficient at working to treat nausea that was caused by a multitude of things: morning sickness, chemotherapy, and even seasickness. The same research also indicates that women enduring nausea while they are pregnant can expect to get relief from ginger. However, nausea brought on by things like post-operative recovery cannot be counted as being sufficiently cured or reversed by taking in some ginger. Ginger was also used as folk medicine. Ginger has long been used in folk medicine, and in this context, it is said to be a remedy against colds if brewed in a tea. Drinks made from ginger like ginger ale and ginger beer have been recommended for generations as a way of pacifying upset stomach and other stomach conditions. In countries like China, eggs scrambled with sliced ginger is viewed as a home remedy for bouts of coughing. Cooking with ginger root at least 2 times a week serves as a boost to your heart health. Ginger roots may lower cholesterol and prevent blood from clotting, according to the University of Maryland Medical Center. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition concluded that consuming ginger extract affects the formation of plaque, leading to a reduction of cholesterol levels. This may prevent blockages from occurring in blood vessels, reducing the risk for heart attacks and strokes. People who take ginger root supplements should be aware that it has anticoagulant properties. If you take medications that thin the blood, such as warfarin or even aspirin, be cautious when taking or eating ginger.
Now let's go around the world in international brief. A Tunisian opposition politician has been shot dead, and in Britain, legislators have approved gay marriage despite fears to be fined a total of about £400 million by UK and US regulators later as a result of the Labour scandal.
The head of RBS's investment banking arm since 2008, John Hurricane, is also expected to step down. However, there is no suggestion he was involved in the scandal. RBS is accused of colluding with other banks to rig LIBOR rates during the global financial crisis. Barclays and UBS have already received fines. Business Secretary Vince Cable said the government had made it clear to RBS that the fines should be paid from staff bonuses, saying that neither taxpayers nor bank customers should bear the cost. The government has an 81% stake in RBS following the part nationalization of the bank during the financial crisis. But he acknowledged that the government could not force RBS to act despite its majority stake.
And that's all we have for you for Midday Brief today. My name is Nia Kofi Smatabi, but before we go, a second look at our headlines. Council of State voting has been ongoing across the country. It ended in the Northern Regional capital, Tamale, and we got an update from our correspondent there who says the incumbent member on the Council of State was elected unanimously. And GOPSA, that's the Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association, are saying they will withdraw some services from if their grievances are not addressed by the end of the month, and they are not ruling out a full-blown industrial action, but they say if that starts, it will not be halted until all their grievances are met. And cancer is soon to be on the list of treatment under the NHIS scheme. And that's it. We are back again at 8 p.m. with more news. Stay with us here on Joy News.